Hey everyone. Oh yeah, the apocalypse. Look, this would never have happened if Dreamworks released B-Movie 2. Imagine that alternate timeline. Hell!
You might think Warner Brothers is the king of canceled projects, but the thing is, canceled movies happen all the time. It really doesn't matter what company it is. If they make movies, they've canceled them too. Dreamworks, however, has always amazed me with what projects they end up canceling. Some of them are straight up flabbergasting, while others just make sense. These are just a few of the massive catalog of canceled Dreamworks movies. Now, you could argue the first time they canceled a movie was all the reason why Jeffrey Catballs ended up leaving Pixar to create Dreamworks Animation, and that was through the creative differences of their Bug movie. The most notable title online for this Bug movie was Bugs Lights Out, and essentially, it was what the big Bugs Life vs. Ants debate started from. This was the earliest example of a Dreamworks movie being canceled, though you could say it wasn't really Dreamworks and it wasn't really canceled, as two Bug movies came from it, neither being good, so let's move on to something hopefully not Bug-related.
Shit!
Following the release of Ants in 1998, obviously DreamWorks had thoughts of a sequel. Now, that's understandable considering Toy Story 2 was all but confirmed by Pixar. However, unlike Toy Story 2, Ants 2 seemed to be planned for a direct-to-video release, similar to the Disney DVD sequels at the time. A few big reasons for Ants 2 never seeing the light of day was because DreamWorks closed its TV animation unit in 1999. Woody Allen apparently hated doing the voice of Z, and a lot of people hated Woody Allen in the 90s, so Ants 2 just never happened. What would the world have been like?
Ants 2 doesn't exist.
Yeah, I wasn't exactly on my knees begging DreamWorks to release this, so let's move on. Back in 1998, Rockumentary was developed over at DreamWorks, and was supposed to be a mockumentary of the Beatles, likely animated with a Beatles-esque penguin band. Similar idea to what Surf's Up did almost a decade later. I'm sorry, anything similar to a Beatles mockumentary is hilarious, and thinking of them as penguins? Quite a good show we got for Antarctica. Really? I'm George. I really hope my wife can sing well. Too bad your wife is just a female mumble from Happy Feet. What's Happy Feet? Only me and Ringo have lived to see that movie. It was a good movie. Shut up, Ringo. Not much on this one. I assume it didn't really get far into production. However, apparently the penguins of Madagascar were reworked after the penguin ban from this alleged film. Wait a minute. Ringo? Oh my. Very little exists on this, but in the late 90s, DreamWorks wanted to do an animated movie or series based on the Chaos Effect line of Jurassic Park toys. My guess is that they saw The Lost World and wanted nothing to do with this series. Oh, but they released Dominion, you're all for doing Chaos Theory, huh? Yes, around the year of 2000, a Knuckle the Echidna film was pitched by... Okay, so if you don't know the story of Ken Penders, I'll let an actual Sonic fan explain that some other time, but let's just say, yeah, maybe not too bad that this never got greenlit. Though at the time, it seems this just didn't happen due to copyright reasons. And look, this is what we got in a trailer in 2019, imagine what a movie in 2000 would look like. Yes, hot off the upcoming release of Jonah, a VeggieTales movie, Big Idea approached DreamWorks about the Bob and Larry movie that was set to release in 2005. Now, this did end up becoming The Pirates Who Don't Do Anything in 2008, but man, the story behind this one is insane. In 2003, Big Idea was sued and went bankrupt. Yeah, big ol' thing in 2003, one of the biggest events of that year. Apparently, however, Universal is planning a new VeggieTales film, which co-creator Phil Vischer confirmed would be similar to Jonah and being based on a Bible story. Would I have liked to see this film come to fruition? Well, yeah, but I get why it didn't. Okay, so fun fact, I adore gorillas, and another fun fact, why? Celebrity Harvest, which would have been based on the infamous 2000s band Gorillaz, was supposed to be telling the band's first 18 months since debut. The film's biggest issue came from DreamWorks wanting to make a more family-friendly film, and if you've ever listened to a Gorillaz song, you can see why that didn't happen. Now, Celebrity Harvest's concepts and ideas would later be used in 2005's album Demon Days, and apparently Gorillaz is working on a Netflix film. Okay, so I can understand DreamWorks wanting to make a more family-friendly Gorillaz movie. If they didn't make this movie before 2001, why? You assholes had no problem doing darker and more mature humor in Shrek. Why couldn't you do it for this? A DreamWorks Gorillaz movie? Come on. But you know, they also made Sinbad, so they have to keep that family-friendly image and blah. Oh my god, imagine the timeline we could have lived in if B-Movie 2 released. In 2016, on Reddit of course, a fan asked Jerry Seinfeld if there would be a B-Movie sequel, and Seinfeld, being his liking 17-year-old self, came in with the most creative and amazing reply ever. I considered it for 6 hours and said fuck no. Okay, so obviously Seinfeld himself doesn't like the B-Movie.
Then why'd you make it?
He admits he sees the potential and energy for it, especially with the internet, but it's just not on his agenda. Just like the Age of Consent. I'm joking, I'm not anyways. Yeah, I don't know how deeply affected the world was by B-Movie 2 not releasing, but let's get to a DreamWorks sequel that I'm convinced prefaces Harambe. Oh, hell no. Over the Hedge 2 could have helped DreamWorks during their weirdly specific drought between 2006 and 2009. Over the Hedge, of course, is an immediate classic from 2006, and a sequel would have been a top 3 DreamWorks film, and it would not have been 2 or 3. But you know, the dumbasses going to the movies in 2006 decided to see the fucking Da Vinci Code, and Over the Hedge bombed notably at the box office. And such, they canceled the sequel. Though nowadays, I don't want to see DreamWorks do a sequel, considering, as far as I'm concerned, we need early 2010s DreamWorks on this if they do a sequel. But with the notable bomb the first film was, I don't see that happening. Back in 2007, DreamWorks optioned to make The Book of Life. Apparently the biggest reason behind this one is due to creative differences. And of course, Real FX ended up doing the film in 2014, and honestly, I like the one we ended up getting. I think DreamWorks could have made it work, but it had to be people from like Kung Fu Panda or Prince of Egypt. The way Book of Life was presented by Real FX is just really perfect in my opinion. Back in 2009, DreamWorks obtained the rights to Chris Gall's Dino Trucks, originally planned to be a CG animated film, before the project was just turned into a series on Netflix in 2015. So thankfully up to this point, most of these films were only in early development or just ideas. Hopefully it's smooth sailing from here on out.
Oh, the boat fucking sunk!
Yeah, so the 2010s was the biggest offender of so many canceled projects that made it so far in development before cancellation. Let's just get this over with. Probably the most well-known canceled DreamWorks film, Me and My Shadow follows a dull man and his shadow. Now, it always amazed me that this never got made, but management changes will do that. Me and My Shadow seemed like a really cool idea, and the art always looked so cool to me. And knowing Edgar Wright had anything to do with it, knowing that the big reason for this film's multiple delays was Mr. Peabody and Sherman, Peabody's nuts.
Nobody move! Sherman, touch yourself!
But hey, apparently Dogman resulted from this travesty, and that looks sweet, not gonna lie. Reportedly, around the early to mid-2010s, a Plants vs. Zombies movie was in development at DreamWorks. The film would have of course been inspired by the game, and honestly, it's interesting how there's not really a full reason as to why it was cancelled. From what I've found, it seems the movie was deemed too scary or violent. But Tai Lung exploding is fine? I guess it's unknown if we'll ever get a full movie like this, but judging by the concept art and Rich Warner's claim that it would have been mimicking Garden Warfare style, I'll forever be pissed this never made it to light. In the 2010s, DreamWorks approached Lin-Manuel Miranda regarding an animated musical, Vivo, after the success of his musical In the Heights. Now obviously the film was eventually made by Sony Pictures Animation for Netflix in 2021, and it's unknown how different DreamWorks' version was. Alongside Me and My Shadow, Boo is probably one of DreamWorks' most well-known canceled films. As the name suggests, this was supposed to follow an agency for otherworldly occurrences, and had quite a cast behind it. Seth Rogen, Rashida Jones, Bill Murray, Frank Welker, Jennifer Coolidge, Octavia Spencer, Melissa McCarthy, Aubrey Plaza, Kenan Thompson. For being canceled, quite a lot went into the voice cast. It was supposed to see release around 2012 to 2015, but apparently a major problem was small story changes that blew the film over budget. And sadly, in January 2015, PDI, one of the companies behind the film, was shut down, and with it, Boo. This would have seen competition with Inside Out in June 2015 before it was pulled, which is obviously not what DreamWorks wanted. However, weirdly, this was one of those projects Jeffrey Katballs himself didn't like. But I'm not surprised considering he put so much effort into Ants. I don't know, this one interested me. It sucks it never came to fruition. The world will never be the same. Madagascar 4 was supposed to see release in May of 2018. That's what 2018 was missing. You're never gonna believe, though, why Madagascar 4 never came out. Penguins of Madagascar released in 2014 and bombed notably.
Well, boys, our Madagascar spinoff based on the characters that already have a Nicktoon flop, so you know what that means.
To my knowledge, this would have been the final installment in the franchise, but now we have to live with Afro Circus being the end. So sad. Yet another result of the back-to-back bombs DreamWorks saw between 2012 and 2015. Rise of the Guardians was actually planned to have a full-on franchise. I think these companies need to spot the trend here. Rise of the Guardians is one of my personal favorite DreamWorks movies. Of course, I hate that it bombed. How cool would it be to see other holiday mascots explore in this universe? If Santa can be Russian, Cupid can be Irish, damn it. I get that this would have been in the same boat as Madagascar 4 or the best timeline possible, but it still would have been cool to see this franchise come to light. Rounding out the holy trinity of canceled DreamWorks projects, Larrikins was supposed to follow Perry the Bilby as he gets kicked out of his burrow and goes on an adventure across the Australian outback. The film had multiple issues and creative differences, and testing audiences just didn't enjoy it that much. Actually, this film not releasing led to no DreamWorks releases in 2018. Haha, that's what 2018 was missing, Trolls World Tour. And apparently Larrikins was also supposed to be the first DreamWorks film distributed by Universal. But that honor went to How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World. Eventually the short Bilby was released, and apparently this film served as inspiration for Netflix's Back to the Outback. Thank God. Also, it would have been DreamWorks' third musical after Road to El Dorado and Trolls. Well, No, that's not true. There was Shrek. No, Shrek was more pop songs. Prince of Egypt, no, that was not really a full soundtrack. DreamWorks really hasn't done a lot of musicals? Wait a minute. No, I'm pretty sure, because they had freaking, what was that? They had
Hi. While Xander is having an existential crisis, here's Hit Pig.
Hit Pig is an interesting concept of a hitman. Pig! The film was announced in 2014 and was loosely based on the book Pete and Pickles. The film was quietly scrapped, but back in October of 2020, British companies Anaventure and Cinesight revived the project, and as of this month, the film has finally been brought to light. Now sadly, my theater isn't much on showing these smaller films. Hell, they learned their lesson with Playmobil the movie and Arctic Dogs, so most likely, they don't have showtimes for this one.
Hell, if they're not going to show Real Pain with Jesse Eisenberg and Kieran Culkin, I'm doubting that they're going to show Hit Pig. Let's see what's going on. Son of a bitch! Showtimes?